Okay, now here's the final standard everybody's going to take. It's just a mixture of story problems that you've done throughout the year. Some of them very easy, some of them a little bit more work. Okay. A dance academy charges $24 per class and a one-time registration fee of $15. A student paid a total of $687 to the academy. Find the number of classes the student took. So you're finding the number of classes. That's your answer. Okay, so I have classes, and the only other unit is dollars. So I would assign the X to the what I'm paying for and the Y to be the money. And then per dollars per class. Okay, the dollars per class is pretty clear. It's 24. And it's $24, so that would be a linear equation. I would represent that with a line. X comma Y plus, when it's a line, and then mx, just m times x, m dot x, and then y. So we know the m is 24. Now, you also had to pay $15 without any classes, so this is not a direct variation, it's 15, okay? So I have the beginning, I have this, and now I just write the equation. So I have 15 plus 24x equals y. Okay, so 687. That's the last number we have. 687 is a dollars and it's a Y, so I'm going to put Y, it goes in for Y. Now I'm going to ask all these questions. The letter I'm left with only has one answer, and you can just solve it by collecting like terms. So 24 is your only X term. Get your non-X terms on the other side. So 24X equals 672, and then I divide by 24, and that's 28. Okay, so you go put 28. That's pretty easy, almost laughable for almost all of you. Okay, this one's a little bit more complicated. A hurricane is traveling at a constant speed. That means it's traveling the same miles every hour on a straight path towards a coastal town. 1 hour after being spotted on radar, it is 216 miles off the coast. Off, it's supposed to be two F's. 5 hours after being spotted, it is 144 miles off the coast. How many hours after it has been spotted on radar is it 0 miles from the coast? So they want to know how many hours. Okay, so our units are hours, and then the other unit's miles. You got to follow the plan here. That's X, and that's Y. Miles per hour, okay? Well, I don't have a miles per hour rate, okay? I clearly don't have that. But there is a miles per hour rate, okay? Because it says constant, so there is a miles per hour. Okay, if I don't know it, the way to find it would be using y minus y divided by x minus x, assuming that I have 2 miles quantities and that I have 2 hours that go with those. Well, I know 1 hour is 216 miles and 5 hours is 144. So that'll work nicely for me to figure that out. So y is miles, so you put miles in the numerator. You can't mess that up. So I have 216 and 144. Don't use 0. That's the number. That's the final value to plug into the equation. So I have 216 and 144. Now, hours. Well, the 216 goes with 1. They're in the same sentence, so 1 hour. And then 5 goes with 144. So that is 72, negative 4, and that division is a quotient of negative 18. And that's miles. Now it's negative because the miles are decreasing, okay? You can totally see that. It's moving closer in, hence the miles between me and the hurricane are decreasing. So it's, again, a linear equation. So it's x comma y plus mx, m times x, and then y. And I know the m is negative 18. Okay, now to find where this began at, I don't really know at the beginning because 18 wasn't even in the problem. So I need to figure this out using y equals m times x plus b. And that involves me needing a combination for x and y because you see I know that m is negative 18. Okay? And I need a combo of hours and miles. They have to appear in the same sentence. 1 hour after being spotted on radar, it's 260 miles off the coast. So 1 and 216. So it's 1 hour and 216 miles. Now, so y? Well, y is miles, so we want to put 216 in for the y. And then we take times 1 right here. So I find the product of negative 18 and 1. That's negative 18. Plus b. I would recommend putting a 1 in front of the b and just circling it, and then we're going to add 18. That's just to protect you from doing something stupid like dividing, okay? So 216 plus 18 is 234 equals b. So I have 234. Okay, so I have 234 miles. And I add negative 18x because it's every hour it goes down 18 miles and then equals y. Okay, so 0 miles. Which letter would that go in for? Well, it's miles, so it would go in for y. So get your y out and put 0 in. And then again, you just need to get the x by itself. So we're going to subtract 234. So negative 18x equals negative 234, and then divide by negative 18. And negative 234 divided by negative 18 is 13. Okay, 13 hours. Okay, my next problem. A group of friends take a day-long tubing trip down a river. The company rents out 22 large tubes and 4 small tubes to the group. The group pays $360. Large tubes cost $750 more than the small tubes. Find the cost of each tube. So I need to find the cost of I need to find the large tube's cost and the small tube's cost. I put dollar signs because they're finding cost. So I've obviously got the small, the large, and then money. So that's 3 units. So I don't use a line. I use the chart. So total, how many single. I didn't put any percents on this, so you don't have to worry about that. The only time you're going to have a percent is if you didn't lock the one standard, and then small and large. Okay, so find a money amount for small tubes. Well, I don't have one. That's the problem. So question mark, question mark. How many small tubes do I have? Well, I have 4 small and 22. Remember, this is for non-money amounts. I don't have any more numbers. I mean, you can put 26 there if you want, but you're not going to need it. I'm going to black that out. Okay, and then my total. What's my total? My total is 360. And I'm going to black this out. Okay, now 750 more. I don't want to use y. I need to use x plus 7.50 for one of the unknowns, and then x for the other. Okay, so the large tubes cost more. So large is x plus 7.50, then x. So I take 4 times x, 4x. 22 times x is 22x, and then I need to multiply 22 by 7.50. I got 165. Now I can add the x's together. Okay, it's 26x plus 165 equals 360. Then I subtract 165. So 26x equals 195, and then I divide by 26. And whatever that is going to be the cost of the small. So 195 divided by 26, and that's 7.5. So the smalls cost $7.50. And then for the large, you're like, well, where do I plug it in at? You don't. You use common sense. If you know X is 7.50, you take 7.50 plus 7.50. That's 15. Okay. Next one. The theater club sells a total of 101 tickets to its first play. A student ticket costs $1 and an adult ticket costs $2.50. Total tickets are $164. How many of each type of ticket were sold? So we need to find out student tickets. I don't want to know the cost. I want to know how many of them. Okay, so I'm not going to put $sign. Then adults equals that. So again, I've got 3 units. So I've got the adults, the students, and the money. Okay. So total, how many, and single. Okay, so money, and then adults and students. Okay, let's look in here. What's my money for the adults? It's got to be a money, so it's $2.50. I know those are $2.50. The students are $1. Okay. And up here's for non-money amounts, how many of them we have. All I see is 101. But that's not adults or students, so that belongs here, and then X and Y. So that row's taken care of. Okay. And then your total ticket sales were 164, and I'm going to black this out. So I got X times 2.50, 2.50X, and then 1Y. And since I have X and Y, I need to make a system. So X plus Y equals 101, and I'm going to put ones in front of those. And then 2.50X plus 1Y equals 164. Now, you can either do the times, or you could actually switch them all negatives, and then the y's would go away. It's up to you, okay? So 2.50, 2.50, a lot of you like doing this. It's habit to get rid of the x's. So 2.50x plus 2.50y. I take 101 times 2.50, and that's 252.5. And then the bottom is 2.50x plus 1y equals 164. Then we make these all negatives, and now the x's will drop out. Again, this one, since the ones were the same, the y had a common coefficient, I could have just made the bottoms negative, but that's fine. 2.50 plus negative 1 is 1.5y. And when you add this, you got to make 164 negative. So 252.5 plus negative 164. That's 88.5. And I divide by 1.5. So I take 88.5 divided by 1.5, and it's 59. So y is 59. Now, where's the y at? It's your students. Okay, now you can plug 59 in for y here, or you can just use common sense and say, okay, if I know that's 59 and these two make a total of 101, I'm pretty sure I could take 101 minus 59. So 101 minus 59 is 42. Okay. Okay, next problem. An online music store sells 4,000 songs each day when it charges $1 per song. For each 5-cent increase in price, 80 fewer songs per day are sold. The store can increase revenue for a while, but there comes a point where they must stop or people are going to quit buying because every time you raise the price, less people buy. After how many price changes will they reach your maximum revenue? What will the maximum revenue be? So I'm finding the max revenue. Now, if you are finding a maximum, do not draw those boxes. Just make a big arch in the middle. And I know to find the x at the maximum is using the opposite of b divided by 2 times a. And I know that finding the y is replace x on the calculator in the equation. Okay, so what does revenue equal? Revenue equals the dollars we charge times the items we sell. So revenue becomes y. Get the y in there. Okay, now I only want money amounts in this. Okay, money. So I have $1 and I have 5 cents. Those are go together. So 1 is your beginning amount, and then you're increasing it by 5 cents. So plus 0.05. You got to have x on that because you're doing it over and over again. Okay, and then these can be forgotten. Now I have 4,080, so 4,000. Well, if I'm raising the price, less songs are sold. So minus 80, but you need X on that because that happens over and over. So to have a B and an A, the parentheses have to be eliminated. You need to use the FOIL method. So it's 4 rainbows. So I take 1 times 4,000. And I take 1 times negative 80x. That's a negative 80. I can't have, if you put positive 80, the whole problem is going to be wrecked. Okay, 0.05x times 4,000. And 0.05x times negative 80x. So 1 times 4,000 is 4,000. It's going to be negative 80 with x. Now I take 0.05 times 4,000, 200 with x, okay? And then I take 0.05 times negative 80. And that's negative 4 with x to the second because there's 2 x's, okay? So negative 4 is the A. Add these two, that's 120, that's the B. And then the C is 4,000, but I don't need C. I just need to use this, okay? So the opposite of the B is negative 120, 2 parentheses, and then the A is negative 4. You don't use the song on this, okay? Not with a maximum. So it's negative 8. And I divide negative 120 by negative 8, and that's 15, okay? So the X is how many changes there are in the price, okay? But that's not your max revenue. You need to put 15 in for the X's. So negative 4 parentheses 15 to the second plus 120 parentheses 15 plus 4,000. I got 4,900. And that's your maximum revenue. Okay, 2 more. A missile is launched toward a town from a 300-foot platform at a velocity of 700 feet per second. After how many seconds will it hit its ground target? So we're finding the seconds. Okay, so this time you're not finding the maximum. It's a parabola, but you're not finding the maximum, so you're going to need the side boxes. So seconds and feet. X is seconds, Y is feet. What's the feet per second? Okay, and by the way, the ground is 0 feet. Okay, feet per second, 700. And I'm looking for a parabola. I'm not going to write anything on the parabola. And then I write my equation, which I'm going to need a lot of room for. I'm going to have negative 16x to the second power, because gravity, plus 700x plus 300 equals y. Now we're going to put 0 feet. It'd be nice if we could put a number in for x and I could just plug it in, but unfortunately 0 feet is a y value. So it goes in for y. Now on this one, the x is to the second, so there's 2 answers. And I have x to the second and x, so I can't use like terms, so it's 3 terms, so I'm going to use my GCF. and my T chart. Although I'm actually not going to end up doing the T. So GCF. Well, you do have negative in front. You got to put a negative. Do you have X on everything? No. Now let's think of factors of 16. I've got 1 and 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 16 is not divisible by 3. And then I get twin factors of 4. Now see if you can divide them all by 16. Well, 16 divides by itself. Okay, that was a decimal, so we get rid of 16. Now 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 700 divided by 8 is a decimal. Now try 4. 16 divided by 4 obviously works. 700 divided by 4 works. 300 divided by 4 works. So the GCF is negative 4, but not X. So negative 4 comes out. And I divide all these by negative 4. So that's going to be 4 with X to the second. 700 divided by negative 4 is negative 175. So I put minus 175X. And 300 divided by negative 4 is negative 75. I go A, B, C. A times C, I will be taking 4 times negative 75. Okay, negative 300. Difference of 175, but I'm not going to use the T-chart when I have numbers in the hundreds. Come on, okay? I'm going to use my quadratic formula. So opposite of B, so it'd be 175. The square root, parentheses to the second, minus 3 of these in a row. So B is negative 175, and then 4, A is 4, and C is negative 75. And then I have 2 and 4. So I got plus or minus 175, and 2 times 4 is 8. Now I plug the square into the calculator. I go second, square root, double the parentheses, and now plug the numbers in. First we got negative 175, second power, minus a 4, a 4, and a negative 75. I got 178.3, 178.4. Okay, then I add. I make sure I hit equals after adding. Divided by 8, and that's going to be 44.18. Oh, there's 44. And now I minus. Hit equals and then divide by 8. That's negative 0.43. 44 is the answer I want to take. Okay, then the last one. A car is worth $20,000. It goes down in value at a rate of 12% each year. Calculate its value after 7 years. So the value, I'm finding the money. So I have money and years, 2 units. So it's X, that's Y. Dollars per year. Well, it's not a dollars per year, it's a percent per year, and it's going down. So I put percent per year, and that's negative 12, minus 12%. So it's a percent, so we will not be, it's a percent. Now, it's not a parabola, because it just goes down, obviously leveling out at 0. 0 would be the asymptote. It would never get into the negatives, so it's a curve. And a curve is different than a line. First off, it's not plus, it's times. And then we don't use mx, it's g to the x power. G stands for growth factor. So I got $20,000 to begin with. And to find our growth factor, we take 100% and minus 12%. It's 88%. So 0.88. And I can write my equation now. I don't need a big box for a curve. I have 20,000 times 0.88 to the x power equals y. Now 7 years. Okay, Years is X. We're going to put that in for X. And then Y only has one answer, and it's already by itself, so straight into the calculator. 20,000 times 0.88 to the 7th power, and that's 8,174.